frustration turn into anxiety? So it depends. Let me tell you, worry, if the frustration is because you're worried about something and you're thinking about whatever it is, some potential problem, and then you feel the emotion of there's danger right now, then that is anxiety because you got both the worry and the fear. But if you're just like flustered about something, you can start feeling some symptoms of anxiety, but it doesn't necessarily.
Tomorrow, we see lots of
Stop.
clouds and can expect
I'm
a
sorry,
high of
y'all.
69 degrees
I didn't
Fahrenheit.
know she was gonna tell me what the temperature is tomorrow yet. Anyway, um, and I lost myself. You can definitely start feeling some symptom of anxiety. You can start to feel like your chest tightening, or you can start to feel maybe even some shortness of breath because you're flustered. But I'm asking that frustration, is it because you're worrying about something? Because it could just be that you're worried. We want to name what we're really experiencing. Okay. And I don't, Maureen, I don't know how long you've been in, sweetie. Well, I'm sorry. I'm from the South, so I say sweetie, baby, and sugar a lot, but not to be disrespectful to anyone. So I don't know how long you've been in, and did you hear me go over the differences, the worry, fear, and anxiety? But to wrap that part up, worry, if you're writing notes, worry is in your head. Worry is your thoughts, right? This in your head. Fear is in your body. You feel it. And an anxiety is a mix of both. And it's focused on the future. I don't know who this is. And I'm going to decline for right now because I type a message here and let me know what that's about. Okay, Stephanie, your therapist said, ask yourself, what if what I'm thinking is a fact? Do I have proof? Mm-hmm. Because you got to confront the thought, and you have to put the thought on trial. And that's a technique that we'll talk about too. You have to put the thought on trial. Is what I'm thinking about fact? Okay, let's get the corroborating evidence. What makes it fact? Do I have anything to support this thought to make it factual? And we'll talk about how to do that, but kudos to your therapist. Yes, that is definitely a technique that I share with my clients as well to help you to put your thoughts on trial. And absolutely, you're right. Half of the time we don't have no proof. We just get all worked up about something and we have no proof to support it. None. But here we go. Here we go. Just going along with these cognitions, with this thought process. We don't even pause to put it on trial. Do I have anything to support this? To affirm this? I'm glad you know that. I hope you all see these see the message or the information that Stephanie put on here. That's useful. And if anybody else has information like that you just know that you practice for yourself or that you've gained from a therapist that you're seeing or saw, add it to the chat. Add it to the chat because it could be helpful for someone. So we talked about worry, fear, anxiety. Yeah, put that in your notes, girl. Good. Worry, fear, and anxiety. Worry is in your head, fear is in your body, and anxiety is both. Now, yeah, thank you. Now, when does anxiety become a disorder? That's something we need to kind of get into. It crosses over into a disorder when one is persistent. It occurs most days for 6 months or more. Okay. It occurs most days for 6 months or more. It's persistent. It's excessive. It's out of proportion to the situation. What you're experiencing is way out of proportion to the situation. Or 3, it interferes with your daily life. Work, relationships, school, health, physical health. It interferes with your daily life. So this is when we're looking at, it could possibly have crossed over into a clinical diagnosis. But the most important thing, it is persistent And it occurs most days. So when I say most days, out of a 30-day month, at least 20 of them days, you're feeling this way. Because it has to be most days, and it has to last 6 months or more. So we're not talking about something just happened. This person just won the election. Now I'm stressed out and I got anxiety. It just happened, man. Wait a minute. Has this been most days? Has this been 6 months or more? You know? What if it happens with specific individuals or situations? So you can have a situational case where you feel anxious, or you feel anxious around a particular person. Now, if I was the therapist, I would want to know more, especially if it's a specific individual. I need to know the backstory. I need to know what is the history with you and this individual. Has something occurred? Has there been possibly some trauma that was experienced in the past? Maybe that you know, or maybe that sits in your subconscious, but your body has kept the score. And your body is responding to this situation. You know, so I think you will have to go a little deeper with that. If it doesn't happen all the time, but it definitely happened in that case. And then we might be looking at another type of anxiety is in the realm PTSD. But I'm going to get into the different types, okay? I'm going to get into the different types. All right, Steph, I hope that made sense to you. Listen, I give myself about 30 minutes to an hour. And I used to say every day, but it's not even every day. Sometimes I don't even go on, or I might have it on and I still don't watch it because it can stress you out, or it can cause you to feel a yucky way that you don't want to feel. So take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. And if not watching the news or not even being on social media helps, do what you need to do for you. Okay? And because I said that, now I want to say this. I don't know who all's in the room, but you see who I am, right? And I want to say this to other people who look like me. Oftentimes, we get so caught up taking care of everybody else that we don't spend enough time to know what's going on with us, right? We might feel a feeling, but we got to keep on going. We don't have time to sit in that thing because we got to get this done. If you have children, I got to make sure they get to school. I got to make sure they fed. I got to do their homework. I got to make sure they got clothes. I got to go to work. I got to make sure my partner's good. All of the things that are outside of us. So we don't have the luxury to feel all these icky feelings. We feel them, but we ain't got time to stay there, right? I implore you to take care of yourself. Know what you're feeling. Put yourself on your priority list. Take care of you. Starting with this class, learning more stuff about it, and keep going, keep learning, because you have to take care of you. All right? Anxiety is something else, and it'll get up on you, and it will cause all kinds of havoc if you don't take care of it. Okay, cool, Turtle. Okay. But that's what we do, because we're so busy with taking care of everybody else that we don't take time to take care of us. Just recently, I have started making that more of a priority for me. But for years, I took care of everybody else. I was always last. Don't do that to yourself. So if turning off the news and taking that break helps you, do what you need to do for you. Awesome. So, baby, I like to say self-care is not a luxury. It's a necessity. You got to take care of yourself. Now, it can be luxurious if you want to make it luxurious now, but it is not a luxury. You can do it. You can be broke as a joke and still have some self-care going on. You don't have to pay for that. And when I ask clients, well, what do you do for self-care? Oh, I go get my nails done. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. But what if you didn't have the money to do that? Because now you're complaining that you can't buy this that you need at house because you went. I don't want it to feel like you got to break the bank to go do things. It's cool if you enjoy that. That's awesome. But do something else. Unplug. Unplug. Take a moment. Even in the middle of your workday. Step away from the computer or whatever you're doing and just pause. Take care of you. What am I feeling right now? What am I thinking? before I just run off and say I'm anxious. What am I thinking? Because I could be worried about this. And then now that I know that I'm worried about something, do I have a plan? What can I control? You understand what I'm saying? If you understand what I'm saying, either give me a like, a heart, whatever, tap the screen or thumbs up, something like that, so I can know where we at. So let me get back on track. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. So I want to get back on track. We were talking about when anxiety becomes a disorder. And I said one is persistent. Thank you all. It's persistent. It occurs most days for 6 months or more. It is excessive. It's out of proportion with the situation, or it interferes with your daily life, your work, your relationship, your home, your school, what have you. We might be crossing over. Okay. So although everyone feels anxiety, not everyone has an anxiety disorder or has been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. So you want to know what you're dealing with. Now, I also wanted to, I got a little time. I also want to go over some common anxiety disorders. Some of you may have seen this. Some of you may even have been diagnosed with these. Again, this is just the introductory class. We're going over some of these terminologies and some of the information, and then we'll get more into things you can do for yourself. So one of the common anxiety disorder is generalized anxiety disorder, GAD. I think nowadays most physicians, when you go to the doctor's office, they may ask you some questions about, have you been feeling anxious? Nearly, often, or however is where I can't remember the scoring of it. I can't remember it by heart. But you may have answered some of those questions either verbally or on a form, because now the medical side is trying to collect that information too, so there can be an early detection of anxiety and they can know. But if you haven't, if you didn't know what that was, that's what it is. It's a GAD, and it's a scale to kind of know if you are experiencing some generalized anxiety symptoms. But generalized anxiety disorder, let me break this down, is chronic, is excessive worry about multiple aspects of life. Okay, so it's not specific to one little thing. It's generalized. It could be work, it could be health, it could be school, it could be home, it could be anything, right? It's general, and it's no specific cause. So nothing necessarily has to happen for you to feel it. You just feel it in any area of your life. It can be very pervasive, any or all areas of your life. That's the generalized anxiety disorder. So a lot of the symptoms that you see with that is the restlessness. You kind of feel on edge, just restless. You might have some muscle tension. You may have trouble sleeping, and you do a lot of overthinking about the worst case scenario. Understand? That's generalized. So an example, and I'm going to give this example because I wrote it down. I really don't care for it a whole lot. But worrying about finances, even when there's no immediate financial crisis. It makes sense? It's not like there's a bill here today that you can't pay, but you just constantly worrying about finances. And on top of that, you worrying about, am I going to lose my job? There's not even been a threat that you will lose your job. You're doing fine. You haven't been called in. You are not on a performance plan. Nothing. Oh, am I going to? You just pervasive and generalized. It's not specific. Nothing has to happen for you to start feeling. You just feel it. Okay, thanks, Turtle. And then we have panic disorder. So if you're writing it down, you can or you don't have to, but this is just some common anxiety diagnosis. Just want y'all to know. Panic disorders. So panic disorder is recurrent. These are unexpected panic attacks that have intense physical symptoms. Like you really feel like you're about to have a heart attack. All right, that chest is tight. You might have a headache first. Then you feel like your throat might be closing. Some people. You might, okay, McCoy. Let's DM. I don't know when that started. You know what? I'm not trying to diagnose you, but let's talk about those cognitive thoughts. What are you telling yourself? Is there evidence to support that you're going to lose your job? Okay. Is there evidence? Because if we don't have no evidence supporting it, we can decide, I'm not doing that today to myself. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Okay. Panic disorder. Again, recurrent, unexpected panic attacks. They're intense as far as the physical symptoms that you experience. A lot of times, like I said, you may feel the tightness in your chest. You may feel like you're about to have a heart attack. You might feel like your heart is just beating out of your chest. That's a panic attack. Again, shortness of breath, chest pain, the dizziness, dizzy feelings, feeling like I'm about to be up out of here. So, panic attacks, example, it's a sudden panic. You could be in a grocery store. There's no clear reason. You cannot even figure out, why did this just happen to me? I've actually seen quite a few people have a panic attack, but I definitely experienced it in Walmart. And you said, yep, Walmart. I've seen it in Walmart. I saw someone have one. And being me, I wanted to go help, but I just kind of stepped back for a little while because I didn't want to scare that person. And this was some years ago. Sleep panics. Oh, Reese, are you talking about, you may not be talking about this, paralysis, sleep paralysis? I'm interested. But yeah, Walmart. So that's a panic attack. Again, no clear reason, just out of the blue, and it's very physical. And then somebody mentioned this one earlier. Another one is social anxiety disorder. So this is an intense fear for social situations, and usually it's due to a fear of judgment or embarrassment. That's social anxiety disorder. So some symptoms there, you may avoid social events. You may start sweating. Your heart may start racing when you start to speak in public, because what are you thinking? You thinking about being judged. You are scared to be embarrassed. You're thinking you're going to be embarrassed. You know, those are all some things that come up with social anxiety. And it usually happens in most social situations, but not necessarily. Not necessarily, because you can have a core group of people that you can go out with and you feel fine. But then you get invited to another party and you're like, who all gonna be there? And you ain't even trying to be funny. Who all gonna be there? Because you might be feeling anxious about that. Repeat social anxiety. It's an intense fear of social situations due to a fear of judgment or embarrassment. So some symptoms of that is you may avoid social events. You may start sweating during these social events. You might have some racing heart when you have to speak in public or just being around a lot of people. Listen, Q, to me too. Like, who all gonna be there? Because I need to know what vibe we gonna be on. How I need to govern myself. And it's gonna determine if I come and how long I'm gonna stay. Or if I show up that's what I'm saying. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have social anxiety if it doesn't meet all of those other things. But again, part of protecting yourself and self-care is knowing what kind of environments you need to be in. And if going here is going to trigger something that I don't like because the person or the people or the energy that's there, I don't rock with like that, then don't do it. Take care of yourself. Well, Stephanie, you need to think about that. Why are you debating? Ask yourself those questions. Like, why am I debating? And find out what that is for you. Okay? Now, phobias. Phobia is so many phobias. I didn't even want to have a whole separate sheet to talk about the different phobias. I want y'all to Google, and there's so many phobias. Some common ones that you probably heard about is arachnophobia, agoraphobia, but there's so many phobias. Y'all just look it up. But a phobia is an extreme and irrational fear of a specific object or situation. It's extreme and it's irrational. Some people have a fear of Oh God, the pandemic made things really worse for a lot of us. Yeah, and I don't think we've even explored how bad it's made it yet. Like when they do the studies after the fact, you know how they do those studies, we're going to see a lot about how the pandemic affected a lot of people. And I would say specifically our kids, the ones who were in school, not it affected a lot of people, grown children, whatever, but specifically our kids because they were either in school or just entering school for the first time, and then for them to have that break and then social isolation, that disconnect when they're supposed to be developing social relationships and learning how to navigate social relationships, that's a whole nother thing. I don't want to get on my soapbox about it, but I don't think we even have started really talking about that. I can see a little bit in the clients that I've served, and even in some of my kids as far as starting college, and because your last few years of high school was so digital, now going to college you want it digital, you don't want to go, like, and maybe just the times have changed, but I know when I was in school we didn't want to go to class for real, but we went to class. That's where you met people, you were on the campus, you did the things. But these new college students, even the ones that I see in my practice, is not like that for them, and they all feel a little bit anxious when it comes to social situations. So, and they may not have had that before. So I'm wondering if the pandemic had something to do with that. Anyway, that's me curving off there to the side because I read a comment. Sorry, y'all. Ooh, cutie. Spiders, lizards, yes, ma'am. Okay, let me go. Let me go on. But that was phobias, and then OCD. OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. It's related to, but it's distinct from anxiety disorder, but it's definitely related to. So what is a OCD? It's intrusive thoughts, obsessions that lead to repetitive behaviors, compulsions. Okay? So we hear people say, oh, girl, I just got to keep everything straight like this because you know how my OCD is. Or they start cleaning up, girl, you know how my OCD is. Hold on now. Be careful what you're speaking on yourself. What is this? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what just popped up on my screen. What is happening? Okay, can we do it again? Excuse me, y'all. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. They were trying to kick me off the live. I don't know what happened. But yes, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Again, obsessive thoughts that lead to, or they're intrusive thoughts. You seem like you just can't control. They come in and they're obsessive, and then they lead to repetitive behaviors like the compulsions. I know, Turtle. Like, what happened? I never seen that. They had me move a puzzle piece to make sure, and they about to kick me off. What happened? Anywho, that is OCD. So things like repeatedly. Okay. Let's DM McCoy. Repeatedly checking the door. Some examples: repeatedly checking the door to see if it's locked because there's fear of being robbed or something like that. So it's not like we kind of make light of certain things, like, oh girl, yeah, I gotta clean this, I gotta keep this in order because you know my OCD, and it may not be that. We use it loosely sometimes, but that is definitely a clinical diagnosis. It's definitely a clinical diagnosis with the obsessive thoughts and the compulsion. And if you've never seen anybody go through one of those rituals, it is something to see. And before I knew or had ever seen it before, I was sitting outside of one of my jobs, and I just gotten back from lunch. I was sitting in the parking lot, and this lady gets out of her car. As she's getting out the car, she walked around. I noticed her walk around. She checked all the doors. I didn't think nothing of it the first time. Okay, cool. But then she did it again. And then she did it again. So now I'm starting to pay attention. And she pulled the handle like a certain number of times. I want to say it might have been 5, but this was some years ago. She pulled the handle. Then she'll walk away. She'll go to the next one. Pull the handle. She did it to each door. And she did it however many times that was around. That's a compulsion, right? When you have to do it because this thought in your head, they keep coming and it's telling you have to do this. You cannot break this ritual. It has to be completed. So that's OCD. And then we have PTSD, what we talked about a little bit earlier. Thank you for liking the video. Maybe that'll keep me on and they won't try to kick me off again. See, now we want people to know this stuff. We got to learn. Then we got PTSD. We spoke about it briefly. Again, related but distinct from anxiety disorder. So what is PTSD? Post-traumatic stress disorder. It's not just for veterans. Anything that has been a traumatic experience in your life could possibly lead to post-traumatic stress disorder. Not everything, though. Not everybody actually experience that to that degree, but it can happen. And trauma doesn't have to necessarily look like, what can I say on live? It doesn't have to be unalive, seeing somebody be unalive. It doesn't have to be being the victim of a SA. It doesn't necessarily have to be those things to be traumatic for you. Whatever that experience is can be traumatic. It could be over the ice when it snowed here, right? And you were driving along and you, because this happened to some people, and you got run off the road and you're hanging up. That's traumatic. That might be an experience that could be traumatic to you. Is how you receive the experience or how you perceive the experience and how you experience that situation that makes it traumatic. Living in the hood gives me PTSD. I'm still in it. Oh, Angel. It can definitely do that because you don't know what all you can see, what all you might hear, what all may go down in the hood. So yeah, you're right. Whatever's traumatic to you, but that's PTSD. Okay, what is anxiety that is triggered by the past trauma or traumatic event. I'm praying for you, Angel. Seriously, for real. But yeah, that is anxiety that is triggered by a past traumatic event. PTSD sometimes can be, not to go too far into that because that can be a whole lesson on its own. But PTSD can be the reoccurring thoughts, definitely. Experiencing anxiety when you're faced with that trigger again, the thing or thought about it, or something happens and it reminds you of, revisiting, difficulty sleeping, nightmares. There's so many things. That's a whole lesson on its own, okay? But that is related to but distinct from anxiety. All right? So we made it to our hour. I kind of slotted it for like an hour and a half just in case there was more talk in the chat that we needed to pause. But I do want to stop here for a second and give you your key takeaways and your homework. Oh, I got it on here. Y'all ready? I'm glad this was interesting to you, Turtle. I hope you come back and we continue to learn together. But some key takeaways. You ready? Anxiety is a natural and essential reaction and response to stress. It's natural and it serves a purpose. Oh, I'm sorry, Angel. I started at 6 Eastern Standard. So sorry, but come on back next week. But anxiety is natural and it serves a purpose. But too much of it can interfere with our daily life. That's a key takeaway, right? So it has its purpose. It's not the enemy. It can help us in some situations. We were pre-wired, remember? From prehistoric days, caveman days. We were pre-wired, our minds and body, to alert us of a threat or potential threat. It's just now coming into modern day time, and with evolution adaptation, we don't necessarily need all of those physical symptoms. It doesn't have to be this uncomfortable when we experience anxiety. Okay. Another key takeaway: worry equals thoughts. Okay, let me get my word. We're differentiating between worry, fear, and anxiety. So, worry equals thought. Fear equals immediate reaction to imminent danger. or immediate response to something that we feel is dangerous. And anxiety is a mix of both. Hey, Ebony. Anxiety is a mix of both that's focused on the future, but I also like to pull in the past too, because we can be anxious about some stuff that happened, or start to feel anxiety about something that happened that we can't go back and change. Okay? Anxiety, and if I need to repeat something, please let me know. I'm trying to go through these for you all, because I don't know what y'all life like and what y'all got to do at 7 o'clock at night or whatever time it is over there. Okay. Anxiety becomes a disorder. When does anxiety become a disorder? Does anybody know? Ooh, this is a good thing. Does anybody know when anxiety crosses over to a clinical diagnosis? There were 3 things I said. If anybody can name 1, 2, or 3 of them. Anybody? I'm going to wait for a few minutes. I want y'all to name this. Let me see who was listening in this class. Are y'all listening? Come on, McCoy. When it occurs 6 months or more, when it interferes with your daily life, when it's constant, come on. Yes. Interferes with your daily life. Uncomfortable. Okay. Occurs. Yes. Yes. All of that. Thank you all. Out of proportion. Come on. Y'all were listening, huh? To little old me. Good job. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. It becomes, a clinical disorder. Absolutely, Jaleesa. When it's persistent, excessive, and disruptive to your normal functioning. All of you said it. Absolutely. Okay, so sometimes it may not be anxiety that you have 24 out of 30 days, okay? Because it has to occur most days for 6 months or more. That's right. Okay. We're going to get into that. I'm wrapping this course up, okay? Angel, I'm talking to your comment, Angel. So yeah, that's anxiety. And then be mindful. There, like we said earlier a few minutes ago, we have worry, we have fear, we have anxiety. Anxiety is a mixture of both. Worry is just our thoughts. Fear, our feelings, what we feeling about. We feel that right now. And then we have anxiety, which is a mixture of both. So be mindful of what you say to yourself. Be mindful. I'm going to try to, cutie. Be mindful if you're calling it anxiety or I have anxiety. This is a big takeaway for me. I have anxiety. My anxiety. Stop owning it like that. You can experience anxiety. Yes, because all of us, human, experience that. We become overwhelmed or stressed about a thing. We worry. We might become fearful. We might feel them both. But be mindful what you say to yourself. Because what you say to yourself, you're programming yourself. You're believing this. This becomes the lens from which you view everything. Okay? So be mindful of what you say. Yes, absolutely, Angel. It can be. And it's like, we talk about nature, nurture, all these things, but yeah. There are different types of anxiety disorders. I just kind of went over the common ones with you. Each of them have their unique symptoms and unique challenges, but we did go over all of that. Okay. And the last thing that I want to mention now is your homework. You got homework. If you just joined, maybe you can still try to do the homework. I'm going to try to post this. Let me see if I can. It's okay, Angel. I'll be back next week. Same time, Tuesday, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard. Okay? So it's okay. But your homework is a reflection. I asked you all to have your journals or your notebooks, or if you want to put it in your notes section of your phone. I don't care. Just keep it. Okay? Keep up with it. But I'm going to read it because I want you to write it down. Think of a time when you felt anxious. You felt anxious. Okay? Was it worry, fear, or anxiety? That's the first question. I'm going to say it again. Think of a time when you felt anxious. Was it worry, fear, or anxiety? Okay. How did your body react? That's the next question. And you're going to journal about this. How did your body react? And remember, we talked about some of the physical responses to anxiety. So you can think about that. Or just notice how your body reacts. And then lastly, what would you tell yourself now in that situation? So we're talking about, this was a past thing, right? So what would you tell yourself now? Now that you've learned some of this stuff today, what would you tell yourself now in that situation? That's the third question. Let me know if you have any questions about the homework, or if I need to repeat the questions. I was trying to go slow. If you got it, thumbs up. If you need me to repeat anything, let me know. You ready? Thumbs up, Dee Dee. Okay, good. Liking it. Thank you. Cool. Perfect. Okay, I got to repeat. Okay. All right, let me repeat it. I do have a repeat. Thank you for all of you who responded. Let me know you got it. But I'm going to repeat it one more time. This is your homework, your journal prompt for you to reflect on. I want you to think about a time when you felt anxious. Question number 1. Was it worry, fear, or anxiety? Okay, that's the first question. Was it worry, fear, or anxiety? Second question, how did your body react? Okay, that's your second question. How did your body react? And then the last question, what would you tell yourself now in that situation? So after having this course, learning a little bit more about anxiety, knowing the difference between worry, fear, and anxiety, what would you tell yourself now about that situation? Or listening to the chat, or reading the chat, seeing what other people said. What would you tell yourself now about that situation? Okay? Hey, Anna. We're about to end now. All right, so thank you all. I hope this was good. Y'all like the live. If this was good, if you learned something today, if it piqued your interest even more, you all just start liking the live and let me know if this served its purpose, because I just wanted to make sure I was able to share some information that will increase your knowledge a bit, or at least pique your interest to learn a little bit more. Okay, good. I'm so glad this was helpful for you all. Thank you so much. So we'll be back again, like I said, next week, Tuesday. But before you jump off, I'm going to go over what next week we'll be talking about. Hold on. Yeah, it's on this one. So again, thank you all. Thank you all so much for showing up for class. Do this for you. This is for you. Like I said, this is an easy, breezy class, right? Just for you to come in, gain a little more knowledge, have a little more understanding about yourself and your experiences, or if it's not about you, learning how to support somebody else who's having these experiences, right? And I can't say this enough. You don't have this thing, you experience it. Be mindful of what you say to yourself, how you talk to yourself. Talk to me nice. I need you to talk to you nice. Talk to you nice. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Self-care is not a luxury. It's a necessity. We all got to have it. All right? So next week, we will kind of get more into, unless I change this, but for now, this is where I'm thinking about going with it. The anatomy of anxiety, right? We're going to do some of the anxious brain neuroscience 101 type of thing. So we're going to talk about the amygdala, the prefrontal cortex, and more parts of the brain, how the hormones, especially like cortisol, play a role in anxiety. Sound like that's going to be good? Did that pique your interest on next week's episode? Make you want to tune back in? Okay. whatever. Y'all, I'm silly. I really am. So I don't take myself too seriously because I don't want you all to do that because that causes stress. It causes stress. We're trying to learn how to decompress and relax and not take everything to heart and be all up in our brains about it. Just chill, baby. Some stuff is some stuff. We gonna call it like it is. But sometimes we gotta sit back and, you know what? I'm going to decide how much attention I'm gonna give to this. You get to make that choice. You get to make that. That's empowering. You get to make that choice. All right. I feel like I'm going back into a therapist mode. Let me come back and be a professor and tell you all good night and thanks for showing up. And we will see you next Tuesday, same time. And I will probably post. I'm gonna see if I can save this and post it or what have you. But I'll probably more than likely post something to let you know about next week's class and what to expect. Okay? Talk to y'all later. Oh, hey, Fire. Yeah, you missed most of it. But hey, I will talk to you all later. Have a restful evening. If you can do anything for me, do this. Decide what you can control. If you can't control it, let it go. Don't spend too much time thinking about something that you can't control because it works you up. So think about that thing. Is there anything I can control about this? If not, let that thing go. It's taking up space for no reason. All right? If you can do something about it, do something about it. But if not, it got to go. All right. I'll talk to y'all next week. Bye. Thanks for joining.